name is Dina. I'm one of the lecturer in ESL, and I will be serving as your moderator today. And you'll be hearing a presentation from Dr. Melanie Sunito from IPB University with the topic trade-offs and synergies between nature conservation and tourism, the case of Bogor Botanical Garden. Before we get started, we would appreciate if you turn on the camera along the session. And if you have any question for the Bu Melanie, please raise your virtual hand and turn on your microphone when I call on you to ask a question. And then you can also use the chat feature in the session to ask your question. Then I will read your question. Okay. And the attendance link will be announced later. The committee will send the link in the chat room. Now, moving along to our session, please welcome Dr. Melanie Sunito, who will be speaking to us on topic trade-offs and synergies between nature conservation and tourism, the case of Bogor Botanical Garden. Now it is time to Dr. Melanie to deliver the material. After that, we can have a time to discuss. For Dr. Melanie Sunito, time is yours.
Good morning, everyone, and good morning, Buldina. I take it that I have about 1.5 hours in total for the presentation as well as the discussions. Yeah, so that's quite a good amount of time, I guess. Yes, I haven't seen all your face, but I guess to most of you, I will see you later on Monday, possibly, if you also attend the excursion at the garden. So I hope I didn't, I won't be sort of like doubling the explanations about what I'm going to say, or I hope this will be sort of like a background, but not just a background overview about what is happening at the Bogor Botanical Gardens. And then that will be a good information for you before you go to the gardens. I will start with, let me share the PowerPoint that I prepared. And this PowerPoint, I will, wait a second. This PowerPoint, I will, this is strange things. Okay, let me make it into, can you see it in full now?
Yes, we can see.
It is. Okay.
Yes.
Then I will start with, I'm not quite sure about when it was given to me the title of trade-offs and synergies. I feel like the both are something that is quite similar as well as maybe complementary. So I will just use one of the words, that is the trade-off between conservation and commercializations, the case of Bogor Botanical Gardens, or as we say it in Bahasa Indonesia, it's Kebun Raya Bogor, up till today, up till this year. And along the discussions or the presentations, you will know that it will not just recently happen, but it has a long history about the situations. My name is Melanie Abdul Qadir Sunito, just call me Melanie. I'm a lecturer at the Department of Communication Science and Community Development of Faculty of Human Ecology at Bogor Agriculture University, the same as Budina. And I also a fellow of an NGO and environment called the Samdana Institute. and also part of a community in Bogor. A loose community consists of different people of, what do you call it, a different walk of life, if you could say, different career, different professions, but who has the same interest, that is to see what happened within the city of Bogor. And we call ourselves Bogor 100. It is not about 100 persons who is the number of that group, but it's about thinking about Bogor, the city of Bogor, within a span of 100 years time, and what the way we think about the development and what is and will happen in Bogor within the next within the 100 years is that we have the Bogor Botanical Garden at the center of the city, and not many cities are as lucky as we are to have a botanical garden at its center. Maybe in close to London, you have Kew Gardens, but not that much. So we are lucky to have the Bogor Botanical Garden at the center of the city, but at the same time, it might be, or you may call it a curse, possibly, because then the center of the city is usually where all the economic development, as well as the political interest, different political and economic interests are all colliding in the same place. So to preserve or conserve the place as it is now, or as what the founder of the garden think about when they started about 208 years ago, it's quite a challenge. On the right side of this slide, you will see that is the 87 hectares of the Bogor Botanical Gardens, part of it, and it is adjacent to the presidential palace, one of the presidential palace in Indonesia. There are several in Bali, in Jakarta, the capital of Indonesia, and in Yogyakarta, in Central Java, but we have adjacent to the Bogor Botanical Gardens. And the Botanical Garden in itself is, as I mentioned before, it's 87 hectares. It's quite a big place. Before I delved into what is happening in there in terms of conservation versus commercializations, I think it's worth mentioning what is a botanical gardens and what is the difference between a botanical gardens with just gardens, any gardens, like maybe your backyard or maybe a city gardens, city or something like that. Two definitions is, I put two definitions here, but I guess it's there are many similarities. It's either called as an institutions, well, a place, a site that is over 200 years old. It's quite an institution, of course. And it's holding documented collections of living plants or plant collections, as you can see in both definitions. And for the purposes, the BGCI, Botanical Garden Conservation International, is the BGCI. They say a botanic gardens is an institution for the purposes of scientific research, conservation, display, and educations. This is, and then the Indonesian presidential decree added that it is a garden where the plants, it was what you call it, intentionally planned and organized based on taxonomic, bioregional or thematic classification patterns. That means, like in what do you call it, in layman terms, it means that, like, if you have a family, then you will be grouped with the same family with the same, what do you call it, bioregional, means whether you live in tropical area or you live in subtropical area, different bioregions, different climate situation. Or there will be a thematics, like you put together medicinal plants, you put together a timber trees. That is a thematic. So it's a combinations of taxonomic based on the family, bioregion, and thematic classifications. It's a bit like, maybe if it's a bit like difficult to be absorbed, then when we go to the gardens, you will see what I mean. And in addition to that, presidential decree also mentioned that it is the botanic garden is developed, is established for the purpose of conservation, research, education, tourism, and environmental services. So there are 5 purposes, and I will delve into each of it later, and why sometimes these 5 purposes conflicting with each other. On your right side, I put a picture of one of the tree that the Asians will definitely know this tree. It's a compass, or the king tree, sometimes it was called. And the people of Sumatra and of Indonesia know this tree as sialang because of the beautiful branch that they has, where usually in the forest, the forest bee usually made its nest, and then it can be harvested. And you see how the roots are magnificent. And as I mentioned, the botanic gardens is the plant are grouped into family of similar family or bioregions, and it can be seen on the map. I'm not quite sure I put good map. Maybe it's not so. I think, but you can see that each of the area, then you have a Roman numbers like XV or XV1, XIX, so 19 and 15, etc. And then they also put the family, the abbreviations of family names. So it's either Euphorbiaceae or Fabaceae, and different family. So then the purpose of the botanical garden is to study about plants. So you have the name of the plant, like the photos that I put on the right side, top right side. You have the name of the plant, so that botanist or anyone who wants to study about plant can study it without disregards of where the persons come from. They put a scientific name. Scientific name always consists of two wording that you can what do you call it? You can see, look into. That's like when you exchange the name, then the botanists, the plant communities know that. And then with under it in brackets are the family name, and then on that name tag on the left side down, you usually see where it was, in which part of the garden the plant was put. And then on the right side is the distributions or the origin of the plant. So based on that, if you have this name tag put in every tree, the collections of the garden, then you can study the plants. But at the same time, the gardens also offered you like myriads of different types of fruits, and the flying seeds, fruits of the flying seeds that of a pumpkin family that you see on top left, and then different types of fruit and different plants that through the years since the established of the gardens, and even slightly before that, it was collected. It was traded with other botanic gardens in the world. It was collected, and that's how now it becomes a huge collections. my latest data, I have to update this, say that there are about more than 3,000 plant species. There was the plant family, more than 3,000 plant family. Most of them are from lowland tropical plants, but the Botanic Gardens also has plants from Germany, from the palm tree from Germany, from Italy, United States, different types of palms also. Many of them are, because the garden itself is already established in 1817, so it's 208 years now. And many of the plants are over 100 years old. About 200 types are endangered plant species. That means that the garden is not able to propagate it as yet, or that is endangered in the whole world, or endangered locally, means that in the area of origin of the plant, it's not there anymore. And botanical gardens also collect orchids. And at the same time, because it's been there planted by different plants for a very long time, there is an ecological connection starts. So there are ants, birds coming to feed from the fruits, butterflies, bees, fruit bats, etc. There's this ecological, it becomes an ecological niche of a tropical with Bogor is known for its rain, what do you call it? Heavy rain, so it's a wet areas. And there are also historical building, the Dutch cemetery. We call it the Dutch cemetery because it's a graveyard for the past researchers who's doing research in the past. And then one of the importance of the botanical garden is it's not just a place where plants are being traded and introduced, but also what we are now knowing it as the commodities, the commercial commodities like coffee, palm oil, rubber, sugarcane was first planted and then to acclimatized with the tropical area before it was distributed to different places and become the start of the plantations in the 19th century. For example, the first palm oil was brought from West Africa in 1850 something, 1858 or 56. 4 seeds from West Africa, and it was planted at the gardens, and it was the what do you call it, the second generations of it that is distributed, that is now become the oil plantation, the oil palm plantation all over Southeast Asia. All of their ancestors came from botanical gardens. So go on with different plantations of coffee, sugarcane, cacao, etc. And this is, of course, related to the colonial time that wants to develop valuable economic commodities, and then it become an exported product from the colonized countries to mostly to Europe. And at the same time, because researchers are doing research on all this cultivation plan on different plants that was collected, Botanical Gardens of Bogor also become the origin of the research institutions. Many institutions start in there, whether it's the herbarium, Bogorians, that collect huge collections and is well known on the world, the zoological museums, and then the research of soil, research of agriculture and forestry also has the beginning as its origin at the Bogor Botanical. If we counted the botanical garden all over the world, most of the botanical gardens all over the world is in a subtropical area, and maybe only about 1/10 of it that is in tropical area. And this is something that's contradictory, because it's the tropical area that is the center of biodiversity, but we have very little number of place that collect as well as conserve this huge biodiversity. And as I mentioned before, the botanical garden is at the center of the city, and Bogor city. And I only have maps of Bogor city. I show you 3 in different years up till 2005, just to show the changes of within the city, the open space and the developed area, means buildings, shops, hotels, all these things. And you can see that there is this huge change between 1983 to 1990 to 2005, where there are more and more developed area and less green area. And the botanical garden is right at the center of it. If you see a square at the center of the city, very tiny square in green, that is the botanic gardens. So it was as the city grows and the developed area grows, actually the garden is almost like being choked, constricted at the city center. But at the same time, it is choked at the city center, but at the same time, you see it's 87 hectares of just plants, green plants, trees, and it's quite an oasis in a way. But of course, because it's the small dots within the city that is growing, that is has more and more developed area, there are lots of threats in it, be it from the environment, the external, I would call it, in the hydrological cycle, because of the rain, because there are more cars and people in the city, then the city traffic also create an air pollutions, but at the same time also noise pollutions. The land coverage is the open area becomes less and less, as I mentioned before, and then the quality of groundwater. This I talk about the left sides of threats, the external that I put on the left side. There is a problems with a city sewerage system, domestic and public waste also, and on the right side, some the development of pedestrian activities also reduce the area of the buffer zone to the gardens. The impacts of the commercial activities and government offices also, you know, the noises, the pollutions, different type of activities also create a problem. But to internal or to the threats from the inside is what is very problematic at the moment, is the number of the visitors, garden visitors, which is getting higher by the year, and especially after the COVID, happens, people are more at the same time as people appreciate more being outdoor, then and the Botanic Gardens is seen as a recreational place, then there are more visitors. But of course, it puts pressure also to the plants, to the wasted number and everything. And lately also the box that I put on the lowest right-hand side is all the commercializations that happened with because of the effort that the gardens or the manager of the gardens, the wants to attract more people, because attract more people means more revenue, and then there are many recreational aspects being added that may be detrimental to the gardens. I will explain to you about this more. These are some of the changes. These are mostly pictures. Then, like the stone pavements are being cemented because they see that it will make easier for people with electrical bike or cars zooming into that area. But sometimes it was done haphazardly, that it covers the tree roots. And there's also the what do you call it, the way to put we call it a selfie spots, just places where it's like you take a picture there, then you feel like you're in the gardens. And this is, happens anywhere. Any cities nowadays all over the world has that. The Amsterdam has it. And then you will take pictures when you arrive in Amsterdam. You have it in Istanbul. You have it in different places. In Jakarta, you have it in different beaches and all that. But always the selfie spot. As if without doing that, you don't know whether you're in the gardens. But that means that to put all these man-made signs, also the way it will disturb the plant is usually came from the lamps, the lights that they will put on the sign, that will, like, they light it up day and night, and it actually is not good for the plant, because for the plant. And sorry, this is repetitions. And nowadays they use, I just want to show you the lower center, where nowadays people can rent a car, electrified car, to go zooming around the gardens. And then they also put another selfie spots, different selfie spots, and then put floating lights in the pool. Then, and again, that is, if you go there at night, of course it's good, but very few people, nobody goes at night usually. In the past, no visitors go in the past. But then there was in 2002 there was what do you call it? An attractions that they put called Glow, and it's like what do you call it? Night light attractions, that you attract the visitors to come to garden at night, and then you put all the lights. But again, that means that it's detrimental to the ecology, to the plants and the animals that's inside the garden. There is also a new attraction against to get more money, is the boat ride. There is a very tiny pond. It's not even because it's just like maybe 2 hectares square, or less than that. And the boat ride will, they go around the place, around the pond, will take maybe less than 15 minutes. But the visitors who come and then take the boat ride means they pay more money, not just for the tickets, but it is detrimental to the plants at the pond. Another change between 2019 and 2025 is, again, for the sake of attract more visitors to come to the gardens, is to make it into fairground on a certain date, usually close to the big holiday of Idul Fitri or Idul Adha. the Islamic holidays, or in this August, in the mid of August, is there will be celebrations of Independence Day of Indonesia. There will be another fairground, I presume, and then the music. What do you call it? There will be they call it a sunset at the gardens, and it's like they play a huge band with lots of noises coming there, and it becomes a music park essentially. And I just put which sections they are as far as I know it. And this is the what do you call it? The night light tourism that happened between 2020 to 2022 for 2 years, and without any feasibility study, but for the sake of gaining more revenue to the garden, they put lights in the map of the garden that I show you. This is in the center of not the center, but the south part of the gardens that I put in purple colors. And then that means that visitors can visit the garden at night, and they will see all this play of lights, and pay more, like 5 times more than daytime tickets. And a lot of people from different walk of life, including us at Bogor 100, and then lots of academicians from Bogor Agriculture University, saying that this is not a good move, not a good act to exploit the gardens. And we put petitions through change.org with the help of several other groups who do demonstrations, who has meeting with the majors, with the directors of the garden, etc. Finally, in 2022, it was stopped. It was halted because we think that there will be problems with that, and the bright light that was put in the plant at night will not be good for the photosynthesis, will not be good for the animals that want to produce or being active during the night, etc. And this is also the change at the garden. And at the beginning, there was the idea of updating the database, and then to make it easier, there was a sticker put on top of the name tag with a barcode. The barcode make it easier to update the plant-based database, but at the same time, the sticker is not good. Of good quality, then it's so detrimental to the name tag in itself. And as I mentioned earlier, if anyone who come to the garden, or the botanist, or the scientists, want to learn about the plant at the garden, want to study of the plant at the garden, and they will see the name tag to start understanding about that, and the name tag is being erased, then you don't know the identity of the plant. Like a person being erased by the names, how can you know or get to know the persons? So it makes it difficult, if not impossible, to learn about that. Of course, there's other way, but this is the first thing that you will see to introduce you to the plant study. That means this, if not being if not being fixed, it's almost like erasing identity of the plant, and that means also erasing the identity of the garden as a botanical gardens. So what is the roots of this current over commercializations? I know 2 things at the same time, but if you recall, I put the 5 functions of the garden as stipulated in the presidential decree: research and conservation, and environment education or tourism, and then environmental service. In 2020, Botanical Garden, Bogor Botanical Garden, BBG, went into public-private partnerships. And maybe it's not quite right if you call it public-private partnerships. Maybe it's better to call it a government-private partnerships to operate the public services. But this may create a problems. Later on, I will explain to you what is on the right side of this that I've shown you. But these public and private partnerships, is only the private sector's domain is the environmental education and tourism or recreational functions of the garden was being given and managed by the private sector. But as you can see from the photos that I showed you before, it was managed in a very high commercial mode. Most of the times it's all practically ignorant to the conservational aspect, the historical aspect, and the cultural values of the gardens. There's this perceptions that the most important thing is because botanical gardens is seen as a cost center because they cannot gain adequate revenue to maintain the garden, then it has to sustain by itself with the money that comes from the visitors. That's why you take more and more visitors. The research and conservation function are being given to the scientists, are still at the hand of the scientists. But at almost the same time, there was a reorganizations within the scientific research body in Indonesia through a presidential decree that in practicalities, it takes the researchers and scientists who researchers and scientists about plants who work from the Bogor Botanical Garden now being put in different office, not inside the gardens, but in what do you call it, as a home base unit that is in 3 different places in Jakarta, in West Java area, but away from the garden in itself. So meaning, although the research and conservation domain is still in the hand of the scientist is not inside the garden to see day to day of the object of their interest of the science in itself. At the same time, the environmental service is constantly being ignored, being considered unimportant. Although the Ciliwung River, this is the biggest river that runs from the mountains through Bogor and then to Jakarta, the coastal area of Jakarta. So the garden plays an important role in water conservation. The tree plays an important role in carbon sequestrations, and all the other environmental services are considered unimportant, seen as unimportant. And this because it's the service is intangible. It cannot be calculated. So the public-private partnership brings questions about like, who control the access to the Bogor Botanical Garden space, especially because now the researchers who are doing research on plant who know about the collections of the gardens, etc., is not anymore inside the gardens. So the public-private partnerships will look more into what will be beneficial to attract more visitors to the gardens. So another question is how are the public public resources are being used, of course. And this brought me to think the end before the discussions of these sessions. So how do we think about the role of the gardens currently and in the near future? And yeah, the 21st century. You can see the over-commercialization, the conservation's role or function is being getting small and small. But but at the same time, you can see also that the Bogor city development planning is up till now is pay attention more into the developed area, and it's constricted, it's choked the gardens. There are consideration, but not that much about development plan of botanical gardens in the development planning of Bogor City, but it should be more. And there was effort to promote the Bogor Botanical Garden as part of the World Heritage Site. The Singapore Botanical Garden is already a World Heritage Site since 2015, if I'm not mistaken. And at the same time, the Singapore Botanical Garden is in terms of age, in terms of year of establishment, is younger than Bogor Botanical Gardens, and it's smaller in terms of area. So, but this has become more and more difficult as the changes happen since 2019 or 2020, because I just learned, for example, that the Bogor Botanical Garden is not anymore member of the BGCI, Bogor Botanical Garden Conservation International. So this is like the community for all botanical gardens in the world. So if it's not a member anymore, it's there will be a question of like, why do we want it to be a World Heritage? Is it now a botanical garden still, or is it now become just a garden in the center of the city? Another thought, if we think about the role of the gardens now and to the future, is the change from the instrumental to the what I call as the regenerative values. In the past, in the colonial past, the garden brought cultivation plants, as I mentioned to you, and become a birthplace to a research center. So that's the instrumental values or roles of the garden. But now we face all these anthropocentric dilemmas, the climate crisis, the effect of the what do you call it, the 8 billion people populated the world and getting wealthier, etc. And we have this center of the city, 87 hectares, which is like oasis. It's a carbon sequestered place. So it's a place of an urban green place to breathe. And it becomes more and more important to think that as a place where if you go there, you don't have to be entertained, I would say. You go there because you need a place to just like relax and breathe and have this fresh air and this green space. And that means that the function on the environmental surface of the garden should be more appreciated or acknowledged. The intangible values becomes more important because not everything can be valued in terms of dollars or rupiah, money-wise. And also there is the education aspect that this is what's called it homework to everyone, is to transform the visitors, the recreational type of visitors, into people who come to the garden because they learn something from the gardens. So in all these different activities, there should be a policy change. There's a public, a bigger, more transparent public participations, as well as a counter movement. This is what we do as a counter movement. I, with some friends, organized what we call a meaningful walk at the gardens. So we walk, we don't take the car zooming around the gardens. It's just a walk to be to enjoy the garden in a slower way. And you doesn't mean that you have to see all the things at one visit. There will be other times to see that, but at the same times, because you're not just zooming through the garden, you see more of the gardens, the different trunks. You touch it, the fallen seeds, fruit bats. Hopefully we'll see the fruit bats when we visit the place. The birds, to hug the big trees, etc. So it's like, as the name say, it's a meaningful walk at the garden. This is sort of like a counter movement that different people can start the meaningful walk based on how do they understand the garden and what kind of story that they want to tell about the gardens. So there are more and more knowledge about the gardens, and the gardens, we see it as a place where not just scientific place, but also a place where, how do you call it? It's just to be at a peaceful place. So back to my title. The trade-off between conservation, well, maybe I don't have to conclude that the trade-off between conservations and commercializations, what I see so far is this huge drive toward commercializations more than the conservations, and that is a very sad development, but I think we should turn the tide. Bu Dina, I think that's my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Bu Melanie, for addressing the interesting topic related to Bogor Botanical Garden. I think it will be a good introduction or preliminary knowledge before you visit Bogor Botanical Garden directly, especially for you that will join the excursion in the next Monday. Okay. Now it's time to have a discussion with Bu Melanie. If you have any question for Dr. Melanie Sunito, please raise your hand or add your question to the chat. Is there anyone to ask? Oh, there are 3 persons. First, Dr. Pilipo, please open your mic. Okay, go ahead.
I still cannot hear you.
Okay, how about now?
Yeah, that's great. Can you also introduce yourself, which country you're from?
Oh, yeah, I will do that. Okay, my name is Dr. Koyagi Filipo. I'm from Tanzania, and I'm so happy to hear about botanic garden in Bogor. Actually, I didn't even know it's a special like that. I just know that it's just a garden. So it's a new things for me today. But before I go to I have 2 questions, but before I go through my question, I have a little kind of things to share about regarding to my country. Same, but it may be different. In my country, we have things called reserving park or reserving area, which we always keep some area special for same like botanic garden, but people, they're not allowing to do anything just for reserving. It's only maybe animals, but not livestock animals. But we have a challenge about between the community and the government regarding to that reserving area. And this challenge comes when we have kind of these people calling livestock community, those people who are living with animals like cows, sheep, and goats. So they always forcing to enter their animals or their sheep or goat into the reserving area so they can feed the animals. And this brings a lot of attention because when they bring their animals into those areas, it may be because they can degrade that area, and maybe they can lose. There's a threat of losing some of the habitats because of those animals they are eating each and everything, and sometimes, yeah. So back to my question. My first question is about, as we understand, Indonesia, it's one of the demographic country in the world. And according to the latest census, it seems like Indonesia, it's now it may be reach 300 million population.
Yeah.
So, and if you see the garden in Bogor, it may be, maybe I think it may face a lot of, what we call it, threat to be not existing anymore because of the population go up and the people then look for a place for living, or for expanding their cities. So how do you think about this point about how the government could be able to protect these hidden gems about the botanic garden in Bogor, vice versa, based on the demographic grow up in that area? That's my first question. My second question is all about what, apart from the tourism, apart from relaxation, apart from a lot of, as you say, there are so many things to do in that garden. So what other benefits do people are getting, especially those who are going to visit that garden? Not just only local people, but even foreigners. For example, maybe I will come there to visit that botanic. So what things can I expect to get from that area? That's my two questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Should I answer this or collect the questions first, Budina?
Maybe you can respond
Okay.
question per question. Okay.
Very interesting questions, and thank you. I hope you will you be joining to the botanical gardens on Monday?
I don't know because
Okay.
yeah, I have no idea.
Okay, but one day possibly. Yeah. There's a difference between, of course, there's a reservation area is a place where, like what you mentioned, the challenge is between the livestocks and the grazing area. Yeah. And of course, this will I would think that this will be related to the livelihoods and the conflicting livelihood. The farmers or the forester want to keep that as forest. The people who herders, they will want to see this place as a grazing area, and there will be increasing conflict between them if there are more number of livestock, and at the same time that means that decreasing the importance to other, like forest people, etc. So there's always this challenge. And yes, Indonesia is nowadays is about 300 million, and not just that, 60% live in Java. And out of those 60%, I think it's one third, if not almost one. If you also add up Jakarta, the capital, the West Java part will be over 100 million in itself. And then you have the Bogor Botanical Gardens at the center. So, and then the question is, it just can be just erase that? But it's 200 years old, and it was here before all these populations come and populated the area, and the collections, the huge collections of plant that the botanical garden has, is very what do you call it? Is very valuable, that you cannot just like move it to other places. And even if you move it and find a different area that is what do you call it? That is of similar bioregions, of similar temperature, rainfalls, etc., then there will be problems in the process. There will be a process that needs to be done, adaptations that need to be done, etc. So why? Actually, it's like in many places in the world, you have like a conservation place, forest park, or different places that you conserve. It's the same thing. And the competing, what do you call it, interest between, it's not just, what do you call it? It's not just, it's easier to preserve it there than just move it to other places. At the same time, there's also a thought that to expand the garden in terms of not expanding in terms of the area, but replanting the plants, propagate the plants, and then plant it in different places all over West Java, Bogor, West Java, maybe the whole Java, and maybe to other islands. It's the same thing as what is being done by Singapore Botanical Gardens. The Singapore Botanical Gardens, the population density is about the same as Indonesia, as Java. And the way they balancing all these trees and the gardens with the population is by having more gardens all over the city. So practically the whole city and country, Singapore is both city and country, becomes like the big gardens. And with this changing of the situation, the environmental situation now, actually it becomes more important to have that vis-a-vis moving it into other place, because economically it's not important, because there are other valuable things, important things that's for the garden. Can the government protect it? From what I mentioned to you, yes, there are efforts to protect it, but government in itself cannot do it alone without the participations of the public, without the participation of the scientists, without also the international world see it. Also, this is something that has to be done from many people, many agencies also. Regarding your second questions, what are the other benefits of the gardens? One of the things with the plan, with the collected plants that is there, when I take a walk with some of the friends from different countries, some of them say that, oh, not just different country, but also different island within Indonesia. Some of them say that, oh, we used to have this plant, but it's not anymore in our area, because everywhere the developed area is getting bigger and the green area is getting smaller, even in the small islands all over, not just because we're close to the city. So and the garden has the collection, the three collections, and if it can be reintroduced, it can be studied, it can be reintroduced. So maybe if you walk to the garden, you will see a plant from Tanzania that maybe the botanists, your biologists are like, this used to be from our place, but it's not anymore. So it also brought the pride that you have these collections, and sometimes these plants are, what do you call it? It already extinct before we have an ample time to study what it's important and all that. So that is the importance to collect, to have this place where not just collect, but to conserve and study it. I think that is a very important thing in time where with the changes that happens globally, plants and animals are going extinct in a very rapid situations. You having a place where you can collect it, it's so important. I hope I answer your questions.
Yes, doctor, you answered all. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Okay, second question. Saini Janeh, please open your mic.
Thank you, Doctor, for your wonderful presentation. My name is Sini Jane from the Gambia, pursuing Masters in Public Policy with a specialization in climate change.
Okay.
So basically from your presentation, I think population growth and economic growth will somehow be the drivers to the threat that you highlight as threats to the botanic garden. So, and we know for high greenhouse gas concentration as well in the atmosphere, these are basically considered as the drivers to them. And throughout this week, we've been having presentations with professors, and some of these presentations were on ecotourism and economic evaluation of natural environment. So to connect those ones with your presentation on trade-offs between conservation and commercialization, I don't know whether considering ecotourism to some extent will have some degree of greenwashing. Like you want to conserve natural environment, but at the same time, you want to have economic return by the way you will introduce things that will affect that natural environment and will not be that supportive to the biodiversity or the ecosystem that you are trying to protect. So the moment you are interested in economic return, and the moment you wanted to have a lot of visitors because it will give you economic return, you tend to forget the very reason why you want to conserve that environment. So will it be effective to use economic evaluation of natural environment to convince those that are not convinced? Because we know conservation, the benefit of conservation is not that visible as the benefits of economic return, because they will give you percentages, the figures that they generate. But now, instead of you trying to give people the essence of conservation to protect those natural environments, how do they benefit us? Using economic evaluations to also counter the you try to balance the benefit that economic return is bringing and the benefit in economic terms as well that conserving those natural environments will bring. So will it be that effective, like economic evaluation, using economic evaluation? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Very interesting. I was kind of, oh my goodness, like I'm having a exam, like a PhD exam now. But very interesting questions. I guess I will start with like, there is no single answers. So like the experience that we have when we are against the over tourism of light attractions that I mentioned before is an example how different groups of people, the scientists, the publics, some of the people who are concerned about the cultures, the integrity of the gardens, different people work together because they know something is detrimental being done at the gardens. So I think, yes, economic evaluation will be useful because as I mentioned also in my presentations, the intangible is something that people like take it for granted. And if by making it into a tangible by economic evaluations, yes, it's okay. And I think the language of the world nowadays is the economic evaluation. So why we can do that, right? It's being done with the forest, with different places. So yeah, but that is not. We have to move. I mean, human beings should move beyond that. And ecotourism, yes, there might be a problem of greenwash. And that is precisely what happened with over commercializations of the garden. But it is worse, if I may say. It is worse because if you talk about ecotourism, you have to start the tourism based on the resources that you're So the resources, what is the resources? The gardens, the plants, all this, and then you do the tourism based on that. But what is being done at the garden with the trying to attract more people coming inside is just, all these playgrounds and musics, and it doesn't have anything related to the resources, the resources of the garden. So it's not even an ecotourism. So we have to move the ecotourism in a sense, like, for example, a friend has been advising the garden to put a designated area for picnics. Because if there are rare plant collections, and people better not going close to that area because the plants are so vulnerable, so sensitive, then it should be a place where visitors cannot go. And then another place they can do picnic, they can have maybe bringing boom box inside, etc. I don't like that, but okay, we can have some adjustment to that. Yeah, but and it's already happened. There is an area where a rare Rafflesia flowers is it's a site where the cultivation of rare Rafflesia flowers. And after so many efforts, Rafflesia is a parasite, so it grows inside a tree. And then all you see is then when it decides to bloom, it will just within that branch of tree, the flower comes. That is Rafflesia. You can Google it. And then when it blooms, after so many years of scientific efforts, of course, visitors want to come there. And they want to get closer because they want to take pictures. They don't realize that they stomped part of the roots, the network of roots for that plants. And I just learned that the parasitic plant that the Rafflesia grows is now died because of that. So because the garden doesn't have this designated area, doesn't plot the area as yet where can be visitors can come, when not, when can you picnic place, etc. So, and the questions and the last thing I think is about like these questions about like is there a natural environment nowadays? Because even the forest even the forest is not natural anymore. It's somewhere along the way, 30 or 50 years ago, it was planted. The botanical garden, it was not natural environment. It was planted. And the plant was planted in such a certain way so that it can be studied by putting them in the same family, etc. So it's not natural anymore. But as the years going on, the ecology, the food chain, all these things start going in there. So it becomes an ecology in itself, a very a natural but also fragile ecology. So these questions of man-made is always like there's nothing natural anymore in this world because we have populated the whole world. Nothing is natural anymore, not even your forest. So that's just like it. So thank you, Budina.
Okay, thank you, Bu Melanie. Next, Amin Oriakhel. Yeah.
Yeah, hello, assalamu alaikum.
Welcome.
Thank you so much, Dr. Milani, for the interesting topic and presentation. I really like it, and I learned more about the Kebun Raya Bogor. Even before I had heard about this garden, that there is a famous garden in Bogor, and I was really excited to visit it. But this presentation made me I must visit it as soon, inshallah. Actually, I have two questions. My first question is, how can Bogor Botanical Garden balance its role as a public attraction with the urgent need to protect its ecological and historical integrity amid urban pressure. And my second question is, to what extent do internal tourism events like Glow and Sunset de Kibun risk transforming the garden's identity from a conservation space into a commercial venue? Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Sir, where are you from?
I am from Afghanistan.
Afghanistan. Okay. Beautiful place. I hope someday I could go there.
Yeah, inshallah.
Yeah,
We welcome you.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess the balancing act is not easy. Oh, that reminds me another things that relate to the Sainajan. The question is this kind of delicate balance. So it's not only about population versus population and ecotourism, but as we see, the government policy or the change in government policy can also be beneficial, but it can also be detrimental to the gardens, and the speed up of commercializations at the garden, I guess, is a lot of it are due to the change of policy, the change of regulations, government regulations. So a delicate balance to answer Mr. Amin's questions. It's a delicate balance, but as what I mentioned before with ecotourism, the public attractions and all that. First, if we think loosely that an ecotourism should be, but ecotourism with keeping in mind the source of that tourism, the ecological source of that tourism, something about the plant. There was this idea that this new young generations, the millennial generations, are not so pay attention about plant, or they don't care about plant. They would like to have a selfie, take a photo selfie with that plant, but they're not interested with any plant. That is actually a big lie. That is not true, because then you have to question them whether, have you already explained to them about the garden? Have you already explained to them about certain plants? How pollinations have happened with the specific plants, etc. If you know about that, then they were like, oh, I know, now I know. And it becomes attractive, and they will come to the gardens the next time, not just to see the greenery, the trees, but they go into specific plants. And this is the one of the example that I do with when I do the meaningful walk at the gardens with youth homeschoolers, 12 to 14 years old of age, and I gave them a map of the world map, and then we go to a palm area, just a specific area at the gardens, and then I show them how to read to get to know the plants by looking at the names of the name tag and know the origin. And I ask them to put the distributions, the plant distributions or plant origin in the map. So they start knowing that the plant, most of the palm comes from Papua of Indonesia, the Sumatra, and some of it from African countries, and also they're from Italy and so on. And then they put it. And then one of them asked me, where is Seychelles? And I said, Google it. So they Google it, and then, no, I know the Seychelles, etc., etc. So they put all this original area of the palm in that map that they have. And then I asked them to write a blog, just a short impressions of what they do. So they start writing something like, today I walk through the garden with Auntie Melanie and blah, blah, blah. And then they start their impressions. And then they end up with saying something like this. Now I know that I can go around the world through plants. And I was like amazed with these young people. So sometimes it's a question, so how can we bring that to public, bring that to interest people? And that should be the kind of ecotourism that was like being what you call it, being introduced, being more utilized, and to have more people attracted to the gardens. To preserve the ecological integrity, what I mentioned is the designated area is, I think, is important. But music, if you want to have music, is there? If you have, is there somebody voices in the? Sorry, if you have music at the garden, for example, why don't we have an unplugged one instead of unplugged music, instead of the music with like very loud sounds with big what do you call it, all these things. If we are in the garden, then we have like unplugged music with just guitar, no sound, no huge sound systems. That is, we can do music at the gardens, but what type of music? What did you know? Because all this music, loud music with sound, big sound systems and all that, we can do it outside the gardens. The garden should be something that is, so this type of ecotourism we should think about and again introduce to them. But yeah, I guess that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you
Pleasure.
so much, Dr. Milani.
Okay, next question. Athar, please introduce yourself and open your mic.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, can hear
Am-
you. Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. My name is Atharuddin and I am from Pakistan. I have two sample questions, but if data is available, so I would ask these questions. So the first one is that what percentage of carbon emitted in Bogor is absorbed by the Bogor Botanical Garden, if data available? And the second one is how many types of extremely endangered species have been conserved by the Bogor Botanical Garden? Yeah, thank you.
Okay, this is thank you for the questions, but this is questions that I cannot answer at the moment. I have to, if there is what do you call it, an option of call a friend or ask a friend, I will opt for that, because I know that some friends who do there are research being done about the carbon sequestration's role of the gardens, about all the questions that you have. But at the moment, I don't have the data with me. And yeah, I'm I'm a sociologist by training nowadays, because I'm in the Faculty of Human Ecology. And in the past, I also study agriculture. So I know that thing, and it's limited. But I have passions with the garden, but it's more like the what do you call it, human ecology or political ecology aspect of that. They very detailed data on what you ask. I note it down, and I will ask a friend about that. But because I know for sure that there is a data and there are research about that. I'm sorry, this just like to disappoint you, but yeah, I promise I will find you data about that.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
okay, Nani. You can answer it later.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question, Sherzada.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Selamat pagi dan siang juga. Thank you, Dr. Milani. So it was wonderful presentation about the climate change and the current scenario in the Bogor Botanical Garden. Basically, I'm also a sociologist and now studying political science. And I'm of Pakistan. As a other, we are from same country. My first question If we have cemented pavements around and in between the gardens, so is it possible to remove those pavements and it's practical? Because when you see the mud and the clay of Indonesia, it's like not that sustainable to water. And we know that a lot of rainfall, it's a tropical region. So how can we address this issue? And the other question, if we are using AI, artificial intelligence, how we can get benefit from it, especially in the nighttime when we are taking care of the trees, plants, and the garden. So how we can address and endorse this modern technology to save our natural environment.
Yeah, thank you. Interesting questions. With the cemented pavements, I think there is the need to also
Sorry, Febri Makan, can you mute your?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
yeah the idea you when something like this happen, we usually start with rethinking about why, or question about why did people want to have a cemented pavement. And what I found out is the idea that if it's just a stone pavement, it's slippery, they say, and the electric bike or electric car cannot pass that place. But there is a reason why it's not like that. Plus, the cemented pavement, as I mentioned to you, is done haphazardly. And if you look into, if you see the gardens, I can show you picture later on. There are tiny plants between the stones pavement, small plants, not just grass, but different kinds of plants, and some of them have tiny flowers. And these tiny flowers are the stingless bee. Again, a tiny bee, because everything is so tiny. Tiny bee feeds on that. So if we cemented that, that means we kill the plants. That means we starve the stingless bee. So that kind of ecological, thought that connect one to others. It's not on the people who just think about the economic aspect of and want to that place to be used as the bicycle to pass through and all that. Is it possible to remove that? Yes, it's possible. You can do something like you can do a counter movement where you vandalism, that you can just go there and do that for yourself. But you can also make protests and give argumentations so that the garden workers will do something about that. And gave arguments about these cycles of ecological dependency from plants to animals and all that. I think it is possible. But what I found very interesting, because I saw this change happen in 2019 in the middle of COVID, when after the first attack, COVID closed down, the garden was open after 5 months closed, and then it was open, and then I see these changes. So it was 2020 to now, and I see the nature takes care of the problems. The nature, because of this haphazard done, and some of them just start getting so loose, and then plants start coming out of that again, and then some part is so slippery because of moss growing out of that, and then the workers of the garden will have to move that. But nature is helping us taking care of this detrimental act. But of course, it's very slow. Can AI help? Yeah. But see, an example is why when update the database of plants, they use barcodes and all that to see to check on the name and to collect the data of the plants. But sometimes with that kind of work, it is of course very important to the botanists or to the scientists who do research on plant to know all these collections. But at the same time, knowing a plant is not knowing a forest, is not knowing an environment. So you see, when you go to the garden, you don't just see names, but how this name of a plant, but how this plant interact with the others, whether it's in shady area, whether it's in what do you call it, in what sunshine area and all that. Let me I think let me go back to my what do you call it, presentations a bit to show you one of the thing that mentioned to you is, I think it's this one. Okay, let me check whether I have the oh no. Yes, this one. Do you see the this the photos that I put on the left side, right side, sorry, of this one. The flowers that I put there, we call it ghost orchids. Didymoplexis pallens is the scientific name. And I've been living in Bogor since 1981 when I started being a student at Bogor Agricultural University. And I go to the garden very often. But it was last year that I saw it the first time because it's such a tiny plant, about 5 centimeters high. And it only flowers for a day, the orchids. And the orchids grow. It doesn't have any leaves. And when it comes up from among the dry bamboo leaves, it is because of the microorganism interaction within that bamboo leaves that becomes a nutrition for the orchids to bloom just for one day. So if no insect or we help pollinating them, then it's just gone. But the scientists have identified this plant in the certain area of the gardens behind down at the floor of the specific bamboo collections of the garden since, I don't know, since over 100 years. So this kind of things, I think where it's not just observations, but also AI or mapping or whatever, all this technology can help us identify. And another thing that will be related to that is what I call citizen science. Yeah, the idea of citizen science, because then let's not just leave this to scientists to know where these orchids grow, etc. When we show that to common people, ordinary people, and then they saw it, and then they will inform, and there will be big data being collected by scientists that today the ghost orchid is blooming. And then we will collect the data, and then it may become, for scientists, it will become a journal article or whatever, but it can also attract more people going to the garden because there is something very special, but very, what do you say, fleeting to see that. And see, it took me 40 years to know that there is such thing as ghost orchids. So, or maybe it will be gone before we even realize, if we don't use with the help of technology, if we don't have the citizen science, etc. That's what I can Yeah. Answer, Bob.
Okay, thank you, Bu Melani. I think the time is up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for the other participants that haven't got chance to ask. Hopefully, you can ask directly to Bu Melani on Monday.
Or else, let me type right here my email.
Oh, okay.
Okay, this is my email. And then this is my WhatsApp. And, feel free to text me or email me. Because, what I feel is when we walk in the garden and on Monday, I would love to just, be relaxed with you and use your 5 senses to know the gardens.
Okay.
Not about like going a walk with another course.
Activities, yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
That's my idea of the excursions. Just like use your 5 senses to get to know the gardens.
Okay, before we close the session, we will have a photo documentation. Please open your camera and give your best smile, okay? We have 2 slides here. Okay, I will start to capture. Yeah, open your camera. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, second slide. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. We are in the end of the session. Thank you for our presenter today, Dr. Melani Sunito, for delivering an informative and interesting material related to Bogor Botanical Garden. And thank you for all the participants for attending the session. Don't forget to fill the attendance form in the link shared by the committee. See you on the other summer course session and have